So I set myself a challenge to create the most attacking tactic in FM23, and this is what happened. So after reading through several comments, it seems to be one of the videos you want me to try and do, one of the tactics to try and make, is the most attacking tactic, regardless of how many it concedes, but to go out and maximise the amount of goals you can score in FM23. And we have done this very well. And the first reason, the first team I'm going to show you is going to be Manchester City. Now, you can expect to see some good teams being used with this test, because at the end of the day, it is all about trying to see how many goals exactly you can get per season, max of the max, the best players, the best tactic to do so. So let's kick things off by going over with Manchester City. So as you can see, we had a really good season. I mean, we had the Premier League coming to us, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and the Community Shield. We scored 175 Premier League goals, conceded 55, 51 yellow cards, and 0 red cards. Now, again, goals conceded is not the point of this video. This is more of a challenge video. And if you want, it can be a challenge series. If you've got any more sort of challenging tactics you want me to make, maybe one where it's all about pressing, one that's all about parking the bus, anything like that, do get commenting below, because I quite like doing this. The game's quite stale at the moment, so it's always good to have a little bit of fun making these type of tactics. But in terms of the actual league table as well, we absolutely dominated at 91 points compared to Liverpool, who come in with 78. In terms of the team stats, we're going to have most points per game at 2.39, most goals at 175, most shots at over 1,000. Most possession actually also comes to us, which surprises me, because when you see the actual tactic, it doesn't look like it should be a sort of dominant possession style, but it did dominate really well with 64%. In terms of the data hub, we are going to be seeing 4.61 goals per game and a goal conceded ratio of 1.45, which, to be honest, actually isn't that bad, because we're still scoring over 4 goals to what we are going to be conceding, meaning this tactic is actually a really suitable option, not just fun to use. You can win a lot of stuff using this sort of style. Going over to the squad, this is the funnest bit of the video. Erling Haaland with 116 goals across the entire season. 49 for Julian Alvarez, 43 for Foden, Grealish for 29, 16 for Bernardo Silva. The assists are going to be absolutely outrageous, and the reason is because when you see this tactic, everything goes into the attack. Literally everything goes into the attack. So you're going to have 42, 38, 32, even 30 from Haaland, who's the striker. 24 for Foden, De Bruyne with 24, 14 for Gundogan, Mahrez with 14. The one thing you're not going to see is fullbacks getting assists, because fullbacks don't have a place in this team. You could slightly alter it, which I might talk about if we get time at the end of the video. But what you are going to see is all of the midfielders getting loads of assists, all the attacking players chipping in as well, and it is just a ton of fun to use. And we then go over to PSG, obviously another powerhouse team, and we outscored Man City with 189 league goals and only conceded 39. We won the Champions League against Real Madrid. We also won the French Cup against Monaco and the Trophée des Champions against, obviously, FC Nantes. In terms of the league table, again, a very familiar story. 109 points compared to Marseille with 78. In terms of the team stats, we're going to have the most points per game, most goals at 189, most shots at over 1,000, most possession actually at 68%, which is one of the highest we've had on this channel, with a tactic that isn't really even designed to do that. So really impressive scenes there. In terms of the data hub, we are going to be looking at 4.97 goals per game and just over a goal conceded. So obviously I know PSG are a very strong team over in France, but it's still impressive to see how attacking this tactic is. We still only managed to concede a little bit over a goal a game, and also quite a tidy pass completion as well, coming in at 87.15%. And what we're going to do today is, because this is all about goals, we're going to focus on including a few match highlights, maybe more than what we usually do, because I want to show you guys how the goals go in and how attacking this looks, because it is almost too good to explain. You have to see it for yourselves. And there's no better way to start that than showing you a game against FC Nantes in the league in a 10-0 win, as Lionel Messi gets a direct ball played over the top, takes it past the keeper, defence is in no man's land, the keeper's obviously already committed and lost, and that's an easy tap in for Lionel Messi. As we go long again here with Kimpembe, is it going to be a defensive mistake? It is. Neymar's going to capitalise on it, back into Mbappe in the middle, who tucks it into the bottom right corner, making it 2-0 inside of 15 minutes, and at this point, this team must have thought this is going to be a thumping, and that's what it was. There's some good play there, gets threaded through the midfield. Eventually it goes to Kylian Mbappe, who goes to himself, squares it back across, and it's going to be Fabian, I believe, of all people, to win a header between two centre-halves. Shocking defender from FC Nantes, but at this point, I knew it was going to be a brutal game. I mean, when you're this amount of goals up inside of 20 minutes, it's just going to keep on getting worse, as it does there. A great ball from, obviously, the deep line playmaker being Fabian, over the top to Mbappe, Great first touch and a great finish. We go again here with Mbappe out onto the left, into Danilo, into the centre. Neymar sees the run of Fabian, who's quite far pushed up, to be fair. Who little cheeky Panenka, he could have squared it there, who I think would have been to Messi. He probably would have loved that, but overall, a great bit of play. Fabian with a great finish as well. As we go again here with Verratti in the midfield. Options everywhere, by the way. Just pause the frame here. You've got these players are obviously forward. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, 7 players, including Messi, ready to attack this ball into the box, and it is going to be the most likely one to get the goal. Kylian Mbappe, which I believe made that 7 or 6. I've kind of lost count. There's so many goals. As we go a bit more direct there, get a little bit fortunate as it is shocking defending from their side. As Neymar plays it back inside into Hakimi, first time rocket into the top left corner, bar and down. And at this point, I'm surprised the team even carried on playing. I would have straight up refused. It's absolute humiliation. Lionel Messi again out on the right, back into Verratti, a direct ball into Neymar. And again, you look at the people in the box, you simply can't defend these amount of players. It is literally impossible. Kimpembe into Bernat out on the left-hand side, who must have been playing in a winger role to actually get in this team, who plays a ball over the top into Neymar. It's a great finish, no competition there. And just playing this way, teams can't defend it because there's so many runs, so many different ways we create the chances. Sometimes it's short, sometimes it's direct. As you see there, it's actually a really good ball from Emery, who plays it into Mbappe, who tucks it in the right corner to seal out a 10-0 win. And we then finish things off with Bayern Munich over in Germany, where we won the Bundesliga, the Pokal, and the German Super Cup against RB Leipzig. We scored 160 league goals, conceded 41, 0 red cards, over a 30-point advantage to Frankfurt, who finished in second place. And in terms of the team stats, again, this clearly has got a good possession factor as well. 66, 64, 68, all good possession stats. Most points per game at 2.85, most goals at 160, most shots for at 885. And in terms of the data hub, things are going to be as exciting. 4.71 goals per game and conceded at 1.21. I'm really impressed with how well defensively we've been. Obviously, I say that as Bayern. Typically, you should be conceding under a goal a game, but considering this is all-out attack, all guns blazing, yeah, it is absolutely phenomenal. And we are now going to go and I'm going to try and pick out another high-scoring game. And that is what I've done. That is going to be the Pokal final in a 7-0 win over Mainz as Sane takes it on the left-hand side. Is he going to cut it back or go alone? He goes alone and gets incredibly lucky as he sort of fizzles it into the body of 3 of obviously Mainz's defenders. And eventually, it comes out into our favour. A good ball in there gets cleared, though. Back into Thomas Muller on the edge. He's going to play it into Kimmich, one of Bayern's star boys. Is he going to hit it? He's going to hit it. Direct, pure power into the near post. Daman could not keep it out, and that is going to be a 2-0 lead very early on into the game. A poor pass there from Lee as Kimmich picks it up into Thomas Muller, into Sadio Mane. There's a great run here, but he chooses Gnabry, who's going to turn and hit it. Goalkeeper stood absolutely no chance, and it's been 3 very, very good crafted goals. Hernandez back into De Ligt, into Kimmich, into Musiala. Ball over the top here, into Gnabry, who's going to take a touch, play it through, into Mane. And again, the keeper could have come out a bit quicker there, in my opinion, but he let Mane have the time, and when Mane's in front of goal, he won't miss. Upamecano now building up from the back. Is he going to go direct? He's going to drive and then go direct all the way over the top into Gnabry, who goes by himself. He could have squared that again to what would have been Sadio Mane. But it's just that one ball over the top always causes issues for the opposition teams. Kimmich into Leon Goretzka. Have a hit. He isn't. He's going to play it out wide into Sane. Little touch on the edge. He's going to go alone. He is going to go alone. It seems to be a weakness when a player sort of goes to that near post in this match engine. You always seem to result in some form of a goal. Joshua Kimmich here finds himself deep in midfield. Back into Kingsley Coman, into Sadio Mane. Great link-up play. That was a little bit less direct as Gnabry finishes off this fantastic game. What was a 7-0 win. And I've got to show you this game because it's the most outrageous scoreline of them all. A 13-0 win against West Ham. Now, I know West Ham are essentially very easy to beat on this game, but 13, I mean, come on. We have got the likes of Erling Haaland up front. As Laporte plays it into Phillips, into Jack Grealish, who takes his time on the ball. He goes more direct, as expected, into Erling Haaland, who takes a touch, and the keeper's fault again. Leaves the near post open. This match engine is shocking for that. The near post is always easy to exploit, as we do there. As De Bruyne puts a fizz ball into the box, into Haaland, into the left-hand corner, and it is going to be the Haaland show. This guy is by far the best striker on this game, in my opinion, as Foden waits for the overlap and run there of Bernardo Silva. Is he going to square it or go alone? He's going to go. He doesn't. He actually, I think he went alone and it deflected as a sort of ball in the air to Erling Haaland, who picks up his 4th goal of the game, by the way. Absolutely incredible stuff. Phil Foden again driving at the back line. So many options. Is he going to go alone? He is going to go alone, and he goes alone well into the right-hand corner. No stopping him. And at this point, West Ham should have got the team bus back home because there's no coming back from this. As Bernardo Silva puts another ball into the box, shock and marking from the West Ham team, and Alvarez tucks it into the top right corner. Is it going to be a replica? It's going to be an exact replica as Haaland now puts it into the right-hand corner, and there is literally no stopping this Man City team as Rodrigo plays the ball over the top into Jackie Grealish. Great touch on the left-hand side, into Haaland, into Foden, and it's so easy. It gets boring talking about the goals because there's so many of them. I mean, the way we're creating chances, you're getting to see exactly what you can expect from this tactic. Every single way you could create a chance, you'll be doing using this as Foden touches it down. And that would have been a really nice goal there if he would have squared it. But you know what? I respect him going alone. It's a good finish. And at this point, I mean, I'm surprised the referee allowed us to carry on. There's got to be some type of fair play, anti-humiliation rule coming in here as Haaland goes through again. And yeah, the keeper's given up. I mean, Fabianski, I think it's time to call it a day, son. It's not going well for you, mate, is it? It's not going well. As Laporte, again, just drives basically up into a winger position here, literally having complete license to do so. And as the ball in the box into Fabian, and you wouldn't have questioned it not being a fullback delivering that cross. A great ball in from Laporte, Haaland with an easy header. And at this point, it was 11-0, and we've still got more to show you as 2 more goals come through. Ruben Diaz into Bernardo Silva, such a good player, into Alvarez, yeah. And at this point, Fabianski had calling it a day. Right at him, he dives over the ball. Very interesting scenes. And the last goal is going to come from Riyad Mahrez over the top into Alvarez. Takes a touch. Shocking from Fabianski in what was a 13-0 win. That leaves us with one more thing to do, and that is to break down the tactic. But if you are enjoying today's video, please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. And please also comment below any manager tactics you want to see or any challenge tactics like this one. But let's go ahead and break down the goals tactic, which is quite a funny name. So this is going to be the goals tactic, and I'm going to quickly say before we do break this down, I want to thank all of the names coming down the screen now. These are going to be new or existing Patreon members. Basically, becoming a Patreon supports me as a creator, as little as £2 a month, and obviously different tiers as you get better rewards, things like that. But one of the main things about becoming a Patreon is the early tactic release. You get access to all 3 of the files, one-on-one help with your tactics, priority in your requests, and also exclusive giveaways. So definitely worth checking out. Click link in the description, and yeah, see if you like it. You might not, you might do, but it is what it is. Let's go over and see about goals. So we're going to kick things off then. Obviously, you can see the shape of it. It is very free at the back heavy. Obviously, that's the go-to formation when you are trying to score goals. If you want me to attempt a 2 at the back tactic, if this video gets 80 likes, I will make it happen. I will try and make it happen. But that's going to be a challenge, and it won't be pretty defensively, but I'll give it a go. So, mentality is going to be set to positive. In possession, you want fairly narrow, pass into space, play out of defence, shorter directness, a higher tempo, dribble less, work ball into the box, and also low crosses. In transition, you want counter press, counter, distribute to the centre-backs, and also take short goal kicks. And out of possession, you want a standard defensive line, a high pressing line of engagement, more often, and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. And that is going to be the sort of team instructions broken down. As always, we are going to have attacking and defensive variants. So if you're wondering why the higher line's not been used, it's because a higher line is really good for getting the goals, but way too, vulnerable at the back, which is why we're only going to use that on the attacking variant. Going over to the player roles, we've got a sweeper keeper on the default instructions, a wide centre-back on the right on tackle harder, a wide centre-back on defend again on the left on tackle harder, and in the middle, a ball-playing defender on defend on tackle harder. The 2 in midfield, we have a deep-lying playmaker on support on tackle harder. A lot of tackle harders coming on. Feel free to get rid of them if you are picking up too many bookings. But as you saw in the sort of breakdown when I went over all this stuff, we didn't really pick up any red cards. So definitely, in my opinion, keep it on. A box-to-box midfielder on support to the left. On shoot less often, tackle harder, and mark tighter. On the left, we've got an inverted winger on support, on shoot more often and stay wider. And on the right, it's going to be exactly the same. We want these players to have the license to shoot more often because, we're trying to get as many goals as we can. And as you saw, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva not only got loads of assists, but also lots of goals. If you don't have this instruction on, I'm afraid you're not going to see the same results. A shadow striker in the middle on roam from position and ease off tackles, and then 2 advanced forwards on the left on dribble less and shoot more often, and on the right we've gone with dribble less and also shoot more often. And that is going to be the default version broken down. Obviously, this is when you're going to be downloading. We're now going to go over a defensive variant and also an attacking variant. So going over to the attacking variant, as you can imagine, there's not too much we can change because it already is so attacking. You can't change your mentality because it is too much to the point where you won't even outscore, you'll just concede. So we are going to go over some of the player role changes. As you can see, little memory refresher, this is going to be the default one. So there is only one change in team instructions. In the player instructions, not team instructions. That is going to be the inverted wingers simply go on to attack. Still told to do exactly the same with the rest of the default instructions, but you really can't overcommit anyone else because I know I want to have an attacking variant, but I want to make sure it's playable for you guys. But there are some changes in the team instructions. In possession, for example, we now have Be More Expressive on, still kept the same other things, we're maxed out the tempo as well. In transition, distribute quickly. That's the only sort of added thing I could think of to make it even more attacking. And out of possession, we've gone with the higher line, and the trigger press is now all the way maxed out to much more often. Now, this is simply a tactic you use if you are desperate to chase a goal. In my opinion, you won't be in this scenario too many times because you're going to score loads of goals with this tactic anyway. If you are desperate for a goal, maybe you just want to download this one to have on file. Maybe you're going to play a different system altogether, but you want a tactic that will get you back into a game. This is the one you want to use. It obviously isn't the best at the back, as you can imagine, common sense, but will get you goals, and it will definitely make you come back in any sort of aggregate games you're losing in, trading in, anything like that. Going over to the defensive variant, this is where there are some changes. So the wingers drop back to support again, who are, by the way, are on the same instructions. The advanced playmaker, replaces a shadow striker on roam from position and ease off tackles. We then opted for a deep line playmaker still, but on tackle harder, mark tighter, and on defend. We kept the box to box. They're sort of the main team changes. The main change is going to be the mentality. Drops to balanced, a little bit more composed. In possession, we've gone back to pretty much the way it was. I don't want to completely kill off the tempo because obviously it is a big part of this system and how it works so well, but you have got to be sensible. If you are seeding out a game, you don't really want to be all the way maxed out. In transition, we've kept it on slow pace down because, again, this is a defensive variant. By the way, I want to quickly make this very clear. This is not a defensive tactic, so I just like to include 3 variants for you guys to help you manage your games better. But I'm not saying this is a defensive masterpiece because this whole video is built around goals, goals, goals. But this is the most offensive you can make this tactic for some reason if you want to. And out of possession, we've gone back to the standard line more often and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. And that is going to be all 3 of goals, goals, goals tactic broken down. Let me know if you think of a better name for the tactic if you rename it, because it's not the best. But do you know what? It is what it is. It does score goals, so I thought, why not? If you have enjoyed today's video, guys, please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. And as always, check out the Patreon in the link below if you are interested. And I'll see you on Friday for another manager recreation video.